Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Soulution Live Talk Show. I am Jody, Almond, and I'm excited to be here with you this morning as we launch the Soulution Live Talk Show. If you were here for the precursors, you got a little taste of what this show is going to be about and how it's going to help you. Real quickly, just let me say that I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have you with us today and cannot wait to just empower you. You say, Jody, who are you and what do you do? Well, my name is Jody Almond, and we're going to talk a little bit today about what I do and who I am. But just to give you a general overview, I help Christian entrepreneurs and faith-based people by providing them tech processes, social media optimizations, plus business and personal success tools to empower growth and overcome limiting beliefs by replacing them with identifying unique purpose and path to success. So this morning, I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited to pour into you. This will be a daily show that'll be happening every day, Monday through Friday. To be honest, I'm going to stagger the times this first week and see when the most engagement comes in. And so just keep an eye out for the announcements of what time it'll be, and then we'll be on a regular schedule. But I'm excited about today. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I'm glad you're here with me today and why I'm glad to just be here with you today. Because today is the 1-year anniversary of my launch of the book, Going All In, Finding Success Through Surrender. And so today we're just going to have a celebration. We're just going to rejoice over all that God has done through the book, all the lives he has reached through the book. And I am thankful that you've come to the party. I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad that you're a part of this celebration with me. So if you will, please just say in the comments, hello and where you're from. I'd love to see who's engaging and who's here this morning. And if you're watching the replay, please take the opportunity to type #replay and where you're watching from. Anytime anything hits a good point with you, feel free to comment in the chat box. And I love communicating with you guys. You're so awesome. So without further ado, let's jump in this morning and let's just talk about who I am a little bit, right? And just give you a little overview. So if we look at this, again, welcome to the Soulution Live Talk Show, and I am glad to be here. Again, I am your host, Jody Almond, and I'm also the CEO and founder of Soulution Ministries, as well as the #1 Amazon best-selling author of Going All In, Finding Success Through Surrender. It's also a top 10 finalist in 2020 for a global award through the Author Elite Awards. And I'm just honored and so privileged to be a part of that. And again, we're here celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Going All In. I'll tell you this, my friend, isn't it amazing how time flies, man? Time will fly and get away from you before you know it. And I want to encourage you. I want to tell you a little bit about the story of how the book came to be, for those that don't know. Somewhere around about 8 to 9 years ago now, I was in a conference in Concord, North Carolina. And in that conference, a man by the name of Myron Golden was speaking. And he said some very powerful things in that conference that evening. And as he spoke, it empowered me, but I was very confused on how to carry forth the information he had shared. So after he spoke, I had the opportunity and the privilege of speaking with Dr. Myron Golden. And as I spoke with him, he began to share some conceptual ideas with me of how I could increase my influence, impact, and income in the world as a full-time pastor. And so I really went home and I thought on those things. I had actually about a 2 to 3 hour drive to get home that evening. And I drove home and I had some things to think about. And as I was thinking on those things, I began to just feel the little boy in me creep up. And what do you say? What do you mean by the little boy in you? You see, when I was in elementary school and the first few years of my schooling, I suffered with severe dyslexia. I wrote everything backwards. I read everything backwards. And so I always have had a little bit more of a struggle than most people when it comes to comprehension and reading and writing and things like that. I overcame it for the most part, but even today, I'll catch myself putting letters in reverse order or just having letters all jumbled up when I'm typing or writing something. And when I'm reading, I find myself often getting so far ahead of myself that in my reading, it's like my mind is 3 lines ahead of where I'm actually at in some way. And so it just becomes more difficult to comprehend everything. Well, I allowed that to come in, and I began to deal with some imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is simply feeling like, who am I that I should do this? I can't do this. People will realize I'm a fake. People will realize I suffer dyslexia. People will realize I don't even like to read a book because of my bout with dyslexia when I was a child. And so with all of that, you begin to have all these reasons why you shouldn't do it. And so I'd let those reasons and those excuses get in my way for at least about 7 to 8 years. And then about 2 years ago, I began to really continue to feel this nudge to write a book. And so I began to do research. How could I self-publish? How could I self-publish this book that is inside of me? And how can I get it to my world? And so I did all the research I knew to do. And then all of a sudden, I had a sermon series that was just a really big hit. I mean, it was received well. The people loved it. The people got a lot of empowerment from it and was encouraged by it. And we're going around saying the title of the sermon series on a regular basis, which happened to be Going All In. And so then I began to write the concepts of the book, or the chapters of the book, and I began to write down what the book was about. And the book began to take on a life of its own and began to take on its own personality and its own way of looking at things. And so from there, I began to write the book. And as I began to write the book became its own entity. Again, not being exactly what I had shared in a sermon series, but now being around Abraham and around Abraham's life and intertwining my stories into the book. And so from there, I had it ready. It was packaged, delivered. I'd already picked the cover. I'd already went through all the process of everything I knew to do. I'd contacted my pastor's book printing person who was in Texas, and I'd contacted her. We had talked price, and I was literally, folks, about 2 weeks away from printing my book. And all of a sudden, like straight out of heaven, God dropped in my lap an opportunity to go through Author Academy Elite Publishing Company and publish my book. And I went, and I'm going to tell the story this morning. So what happened was I was on Facebook, and I seen an ad that said, you could be our next author. Now, remember, I've come this far, but still that little boy is in me. Still that little boy, and still all the reasons why I shouldn't be a successful author, all the reasons why I shouldn't be an accomplished author. And why I shouldn't even be an author, period, to be honest. And so what happened was I filled out their form very, very nonchalantly, if I'm being honest. I filled it out, and when it got to what is your book about, there was all this space, and I literally, my friend, wrote one word, and the word was surrender. I submitted it, and I kind of laughed at myself, and I said, you're crazy. I don't even know what you're thinking, but whatever. Then all of a sudden I get a call from them saying they want to set up a call with me to talk to one of their people. And so I jump on the call. Actually, the first call was on a Saturday evening, and I missed the call completely because I was so busy with what was going on in my life. I missed the call. So they called me and they said, hey, we noticed you missed the call, or they sent me an email. Would you like to reschedule? I sent a message back and I said, yes, let's reschedule for tomorrow on Sunday evening. I kind of keep Sundays open, so let's reschedule then. So on Sunday evening, I jumped on the call with a lady by the name of Nikki. And Nikki began to talk to me and share with me how that she wanted to hear more about the book, and how that in their database, in their technology end of the system, they had put in their algorithms several words, and that one of those words was the word surrender, and that they had to know more because that's the only word they had. She needed to know more from me. She wanted to know about me. Who is Jody Almond? And so in that, I began to explain the concepts of the book, how I take you through the life of Abraham from the time that he leaves his homeland in Ur of the Chaldees until the time he's standing on a mountaintop and ready to sacrifice his son. I shared with her, and I'm sharing with you, how that I, in the book, it starts out and it has 3 sections. The first section deals with your significance, understanding you're important. Can you see where that came from? Can you see where Abraham needed to know that? I needed to know that in order to write this book. The second part was navigating your setbacks, and how that we all have setbacks, but if we understand how to navigate them, our setbacks are a set up for a comeback. And then the third part of the book is about your beginning the process to the journey to success. And anyway, on that conversation, she began to share with me how they would love to have me as their next author. And so here we are. We're at the place where we're having a conversation, and I'm asking, okay, what does that really look like? Can you explain all this to me again? Because I never dreamed it would go to this place. She tells me how if I go through her publishing company that she works alongside, that we will go into 39,000 outlet streams around the world. And wow, so on one hand, I have, me and my little circle of people. And then on the other hand, I have the opportunity to go into 39,000 outlet streams around the world. Now, God's timing is impeccable, because when this is happening, my oldest daughter is getting married, and I have tied up every bit of income I have into helping her pay for her wedding. So here we are, and I'm helping her pay for her wedding, and I have no money, but it costs money to publish. And so they give me the price tag, and I have like 10% of that. That's all I have. And I said, well, I can put 10% down. And she says, well, that's fine, but I can't publish you until you pay the full amount. And so I began to believe in what God is doing. And I do what I'm doing right now. I jump online and I begin to share this with everybody that I'm connected to. And I share that I know this is of God, because that's what the Lord was leading me to do. Because you see, so often in our life, we see opportunities as opposition. You see, I could have looked at the opposition that I didn't have the financial means to do this, the resources to do this. But instead, I chose to look at the source that I had and understand that my source, who is God, who is Jehovah, who is Jesus, I realized he had everything I could ever need, because he can meet my needs according to his riches and glory. And I knew that faith without works was dead. So I jumped online and I began to plead with the people. And I said, listen, I believe and I know God is doing this. If you believe in me and are able to help, this is what I will do for you. I'll give you, just go ahead and pre-order a copy of the book, or, do this or do that. And long story short, in 28 days, I had the total amount of money I needed, several $1,000s, to publish my book. That was around September of 2019. And then in January of 2020, on this day, 1 year ago, I published the book. The book came out, and the first day it came out, let me share a little bit of facts with you. The first day it came out, it made a #1 Amazon bestseller. It stayed there for 5 consecutive days, and it made it actually in 2 different categories. Then I also got nominated, as I alluded to. The book became a nominated book as I entered it for the Author Elite Awards against thousands of others' books in my category. It became one of the top 10 finalists. And then also, because of the book, in the time that I was publishing the book, I was led to begin what is called Soulution Ministries. And Soulution Ministries is where I help personal and professional people find success through strategies. What I do basically is I take people from their struggle to success. And that's what this show, The Soulution, is all about, is about helping you do that. So when I wrote the book, I began to reach out to some people of influence that I was connected to. And so I want to share that with you real quick. Some people that endorsed going all in, and I'm very appreciative of them today for their endorsement. The first person that endorsed my book was Travis Green. Travis Green, I again met in a conference. And if you don't know who Travis Green is a major influence around the world through Black gospel music. And Travis Green is just a phenomenal pastor of Forward City Church in South Carolina. And he is also this great musician and artist in the music world. And I love Travis Green. Travis Green is my friend. Travis Green is amazing. And if you've never listened to Travis Green, I'm just going to plug him and say, hey, you need to listen to Travis Green. Then you see Nikki. Nikki's actually the lady that I talked to on the phone. Nikki herself is an author who has a great thriving business and is doing well in life. And I connected with Nikki and I said, Nikki, you've been such a part of my process and such an inspiration to me through this process and a help to me. I respect you greatly. Would you be willing to be an endorsement of my book since you believed in me so much? And she endorsed the book. And so Nikki has a great business going on. She does amazing books on living your legacy and things like that. And I hope that you'll connect with Nikki. And then the third person that endorsed my book is Carrie Oberbrunner. And Carrie is the CEO and founder of the publishing company that I go through, as well as an author. To be honest with you, he just released a book that is making waves across the world called Unhackable. And I encourage you to buy that book. I encourage you to look him up. You see, I'm all about, and one thing I've learned tremendously is that you should sow back into people who have sown into you. You should sow into people every day, because what you sow, you will reap. And so with all of that, I want to also go into very quickly, as we're celebrating, some of the endorsements as well as some of the reviews. You see, when your book goes on Amazon, I've learned so much about the publishing world, but when your book goes on Amazon, people can go there and they can review your book. They can give you 5 stars and they can go off what they've read in your book and they can leave a review. And this helps tremendously for authors on Amazon to have reviews. And you can see a couple of the reviews that I just posted on here for the sake of it. But I've had many people review my book. Among those people who have reviewed my book has even been a New York Times bestseller that I've had the privilege and honor of working with and meeting. And she just went on there and reviewed my book. And what an honor and a privilege that is. I've had people that have worked with, big time celebrities as we know them, such as Tony Robbins, that has read my book and is actually reading my book right now and asked for copies. And I've been blessed to connect with other celebrities because of my book. I've been able to work with Bethany Hamilton from Soul Surfer and collaborate in an effort that I did a summit online and she was a part of. And all of this, my friend, came because of going all in. I've also been on podcasts pretty much every month. I'm on a podcast or a TV show because of the book, people wanting to talk about the book and talk about me and talk about Soulution Ministries, that all of this happened because of going all in, coming out a year ago. And so with that, I've been featured on different places such as iHeartRadio and the Author Show. I've been on Meet the Author. I've been on Tawana Williams' live show. I've been on, which is the Hope Coach Live. And I've been on all of these shows and all of these podcasts. And as a matter of fact, I just recorded a podcast interview last Saturday. I've got one coming out in the next couple of weeks that has already been pre-recorded. I've got another one I'm recording the end of next week. And, it's been a year and it's been an amazing year, but things haven't slowed down. You say, Jody, this sounds like a big brag fest. And I want you to know it is. This is a big brag fest this morning, but I'm not bragging on me. I'm bragging on God, because what I want you to understand is, if you look at me, if you look at everything I've shared with you this morning, that I'm from a small town in rural North Carolina, that I suffered with dyslexia as a child, that I don't like to read necessarily a book, but I've grown to love audiobooks because I just enjoy listening and hearing those people read their stories, or their voiceover persons reading their stories. And so I love books, and books are empowering, and I encourage you to read more. The ones who lead in this world definitely read in this world. And so you have to read to lead. You have to learn. You have to grow. You have to gain knowledge in some format. And so I encourage you to read, and I encourage you to continue to grow. I encourage you to continue to believe in yourself. Do not let those limiting beliefs get in your way, because when they get in your way, I would have never have thought. I'll be honest, in the writing process, I began to have a vision, and the vision is still there. that I will one day be a New York Times best-selling author. And I believe that God can accomplish that. If God can bring me from where I was and to where I am today, to allowing me to truly impact the world. And this is the biggest piece of the pie for me, is that years ago, God placed in my spirit a vision that I would be a world changer, not just in language. Everybody says that. I'm a world changer. No, in literal form, God put inside of me, Jody, you will change the world. And I didn't know how that would come. I really thought that may come through my oratory skills and my speaking ability and just my charisma and energy. But instead, God used the weak things of this world in me to confound the wise. God took my weakness and made himself strong. He took the boy that suffered from dyslexia, the boy that struggled with reading, the boy that struggled with writing letters and writing notes and writing essays. That boy, God took him, and he made him a #1 Amazon best-selling author. And because of that, I have been able to communicate and become great friends with people in Australia, people in Canada, people in Africa, people in Europe, people in New Zealand, people all over the world, my friend. I have had the honor of just connecting to, working with, coaching, helping them to become better in areas of their life. And you may even be one of them. And I want to say it's all because I'm bragging on God and the anniversary of going all in today that I'm able to connect with you, even right here, right now. I'm connecting with you on this show this morning, this Soulution live show, because of being able to do that. So this morning, I hope you'll help me celebrate. I hope you'll tell somebody about going all in, because it is truly, I get word back all the time, how it is truly changing lives. And so let somebody know that this book could impact your life. It could change your life because it changed mine. It spoke into me. And I hope that you will empower and encourage people in that capacity. You know, the book is only 8 chapters long. And the reason for that is because, again, I wanted it to be a book that people would read. And I've had so many people tell me that even though it's a short book, Jody, I picked it up one evening and I was going to read a chapter, and I ended up reading the whole book in one sitting. I could not put it down. I've had a 97-year-old man tell me that, and I've had younger people tell me that. And it's so encouraging to me that God has allowed me to impact and influence so many lives. With that being said, thank you so much for joining me this morning. But before we leave, I want to share with you some of the things you can expect going forward. We've celebrated today. That was why I chose today to be my launch, because it is the 1-year anniversary of going all in again. And I'm grateful for all that has happened in this year. And I know year 2 is going to be so much greater and so much more significant in lives around the world, changing people for the good. You see, The Soulution, the reason I named the show that, and the reason I named my business Soulution Ministries, is because in the world we have problems every day. And often we're looking for a solution. But God has shown me that whether it's finances, family problems, whether it's faith issues, and you could keep going down the list, 9.9 out of 10 times it goes back to a problem in the human soul. And that is why it's called The Soulution, because in our problems, instead of looking for a solution, we should look for a solution. So everything I do comes from a faith-based perspective, because it's in my divine design. It's who I am. And so going forward, I will be taking a mixture of my talents, my gifts, my abilities, and my faith. And I will be empowering you every day, Monday through Friday. And again, this first week will be at different times during the week. But after that, my friend, we will have a set time every day, Monday through Friday, and we will be locked in tight so that I can jump on here and empower you. And so I hope that you'll continue to stay connected, because going forward, I'm going to be doing things like showing you how to work through tech processes. What does that mean? That means I'm going to show you some of my favorite platforms I use as a CEO, as an author, as some of those things to reach more people around the world, and show you how to navigate through some of those platforms and how they work and how to work them. I'm going to be showing you how to optimize your social media accounts as an author, a podcaster, a Christian entrepreneur, so that you can get more attraction to who you are in your brand. I'll probably talk about branding. I'm going to talk about time management and goal setting. I'm going to talk about things on here that just give you tools that help you in your personal life and your professional life. And of course, we're going to have times where I come on and I do nothing but talk to you about the Word of God and empower you in your faith. And so I can't wait, because there's much, much more that for time's sake, I don't have time to get into today. But I'm so grateful for you being here. I'm so grateful for you being a part of this. And it's good to have you with us this morning. I see all the names in here today of people who are just jumping in. And so it's good to have you all on here with me today. And Mario, it's great to have you. And I appreciate the congratulations. Leah, great to have you. And Marilyn, it's great to have you. Hello, Simret. Good to see you this morning. And again, I look at that list and I'm like, my word, I wouldn't have known so many of these people had it not been for celebrating and releasing and launching 1 year ago today, my book, Going All In. You may be saying, Jody, where can I get the book? Where can I learn more about you? I would love for you to go visit my website at soulutionministries.com. And when you go to the website, you're going to find there that you can do a free assessment, a How's Your Soul assessment, and there's free materials on the website. And you can also get there and you can find where you can go and click the link to be taken to Amazon to purchase the book. You can also find some of the programs and things that I have. And I'm doing some work right now in the process of adding content to my programs, to my website, and expanding that part of Soulution Ministries. So with all that being said today, my friend, I hope to see you tomorrow, and I hope to see you this week every day as I empower you through Soulution Ministries and the Soulution Live Talk Show. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll share this with your friends, your family, and just let them know what's coming ahead and how I'm going to empower them. But until the next time we meet, know that I want you to be blessed, and I'm praying for your success. We'll talk soon, my friend. God bless. Have a great day.